Brewing in London has changed dramatically, just as London has changed dramatically. I mean, we've got a massive diversity that really objects to having international mega brands that taste of nothing foisted upon them. There are receptive audiences for anybody who sets up a craft brewery with the intention of producing something that's slightly different. The ability of London to be able to enable you to do what you want without questions being asked, that is special.
I love London. I was born in London. I grew up in Essex, but I just think it's a wonderful city.
The opportunity now with the number of brewers that are here in London to produce different flavours, it's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. 2012, the spotlight's going to be on London. We are going to have a massive opportunity to showcase what London's about. We have 13 breweries, we have a vibrant home brewing scene, we have a very active beer consumer group. It's fantastic. Let's go for it.
There's a consumer out there for any style of beer they want to brew.
When visitors come to London or come to Windsor itself, they want to drink something that has been locally produced to the local tastes, and that they know they're buying something and tasting something that is a real flavour of that area.
I think it's getting to the point that there is enough of us now to start shouting about us being here again and start making London pubs realise that there's fantastic beers just on their doorstep. I don't have to go down to Cornwall or up north to get a good quality beer now.
It seems like people don't even know anymore what actually is out there in terms of beers. It's not all just that same old blonde lager. You know, there's so much more.
The brewing tradition here is still pretty much only maintained by Fullers, and a little bit by Youngs, but that's another story.
There has been unbroken brewing here since 1512. Youngs continue to operate the site until 2006, and that's when they decided to sell. When the brewery closed down, for the first 15 months we had some decommissioning on the site. So the stainless steel was literally sliced with a plasma cutter, thrown into skips and transported off site. This is the cask washing area. We used to have elevators bringing casks from the cask yard up onto conveyors through those two holes. This is the cold room. Yeah. So in here we used to have cold beer storage and filtration and beer processing. It's a merciless process, decommissioning, and it's not very nice to see it happen. Someone described it as watching your own heart being torn out of your body. But through all this chaos, the brewing has continued, not for myself, but there was a team of us, a team of ex-Youngs people, determined to keep it going. This is all that's left of the Round Brewery in Wandsworth. What I'm surrounded with now is mostly made up from scraps, which we salvaged from the old Youngs Brewery. This mash tun, the stainless steel, came from a bottle tipper in the bottling hall. We've taken the timber off from the old original mash tuns and the banding. We had problems working out sparging, but we eventually ended up using an old impeller. The copper was part of an old tea urn from the canteen. The cooling coil from this one, for example, was salvaged from the hot water tank in the cottage next to our stables. This is our makeshift grist case. It's made out of the dustbin from our packaging department office. Even now, in my holidays, when I go on holiday, other ex-Youngs brewers come back to brew the beer. So yeah, we're all struggling just to keep this brewery going. And hopefully we can keep it going in its current format until the developers build a microbrewery, at which time I shall be first in the queue to apply for a job there.
London was one of the first markets for the brewers of Hamburg and Bremen and Lübeck and the Baltic countries. The docks of London, the East India docks, the centre of trade, the centre of people coming in and out. The brewers here adapted to produce beers in quantity, which made them profitable, but they used their money to invest in the ageing of beers, and the qualities of beers were far superior to those outside of London at the time. The London brewers, though, great breweries like Whitbread, of course, the first to use, people like Louis Pasteur, started to then look into the world of thermometers, hydrometers, bacteria, how it spoiled beer. And we believe here at Meantime, we continue and echo those practices of bringing new methods to the production of beer. The original epic beer was, of course, porter. Later on in that century, the first India Pale Ales using lighter malts were brewed here and sent via the East India docks.
And if you look at the history of London brewing, you see that Fuller's has not been one of the big famous London brewers like Whitbread in Chiswell Street, like Watney's, which were hugely famous in the 50s, one of the biggest brands, and Guinness, of course, were in London, and Bass were in London. But you go further back and you get Barclay Perkins as a brewery, all these breweries which were down near Tower Bridge, and you've got all these breweries now that have been taken over, and that part of London, and the hop exchange is still in that part of London, was a huge centre for the brewing industry. And London was world famous for making porters and stouts. And when porters were the Pilsner lager of its day, London was the centre of the brewing industry. When I joined Fuller's in 1981, we had just about 100 pubs. We've now got 364. We were making just short of 70,000 barrels of beer. We are now making 220,000 barrels of beer, which is about getting on for 70 million pints of beer, which seems an awful lot. But that pales into insignificance when you consider that Coors UK makes about 6 million barrels of beer. So, you know, we're closer to the man making beer in his kitchen than we are to Coors UK.
One of the first things we did was had a brewer's dinner, and the opportunity to get everybody around the dinner table and have a pint, have a bit of food with my fellow London brewers. And it was amazing when you stopped and looked as to how many brewers were there.
You know, we can talk about things that affect us, what are the hops like this year, what is the malt last year. So there is a technical side, not just a social side, there's a technical side. There's new brewing ideas that are coming on, new things that are affecting the way we're doing things, how are we going to react, and also therefore that's reactive. Right? We can be then, if we speak with one voice, proactive in that area as well.
Fuller's have given us, you know, plenty of tips on dry hopping, which led to amazing things. And you know, I've been collaborating with Phil. We're planning a brew for the celebration of the birth of my son. We're going to do something crazy and bonkers.
Because if you're in Yorkshire, yeah, they would have it tattooed on their forehead. Beer by Yorkshiremen, for Yorkshiremen, whatever. But Londoners, they're not that focused, and there needs to be. And I think that the Alliance is what is really going to help with that. Definitely.
Then, of course, at some point down the future, we will be doing joint beer festivals, the Brewers Week and stuff like that, where we're helping promote beer in London and promoting the idea of London as a brewing city.
And it's a great opportunity for us as brewers in London to really work together, promote our beers, promote Cascale, promote good beer, and also promote it to people that are coming into the city to visit it.
And having other breweries, other brewers here to talk to in a network. I mean, network is everything, and we wouldn't be where we are today, any of us, if we didn't learn from each other.
Very pleased to see such a healthy attitude and a kind of an open attitude to everyone who's brewing in London. And I think it's really good that a lot of the brewers involved in the Alliance have a very similar mindset to the homebrewing community, and that is about experimentation and bringing new flavours to people that they might not have had before.
No matter how clever I think I am, I don't know everything in brewing. And me and Derek don't know everything combined. And people will experiment and they will discover something that we don't know. And it's really nice that when that happens and we can go and speak to them and say, how have they done that?